Good morning, everyone. Just had a quick look out the window, see if the sun's starting to shine. It is. Wasn't that good this morning. Bit cool this morning. So hopefully you're in a nice warm spot, well rugged up. Um, yeah, got your cuppa ready to listen. We've been doing our series in Psalms, and one of the things that struck me this week was that. Um, when you look at Psalms, it's actually a great way about bringing God's word into situations we might find ourselves. And, someone is saying they really would like some answers, and they don't know what's going on. We could say, "Oh, Psalm 13." Talk to God, about anything. He can handle it. Um, we get up there, someone's talking about what they want. You can always ask that question. Do you really know what you want? Maybe Psalm 27. You might want to have a look at Psalm 27. The thing that I most want and I'm happy to ask God for. Or answering the question, what does God want me to do? We can, Psalm 67, which Gary brought to us last week. Having that mission mindset in heart. And today we are going to be doing Psalm 46, a psalm that speaks of living with confidence for a very good reason. And so, given we're going to be jumping into God's word, how about we ask him for his help? So let's just pray. Lord, we do thank you that we are able to come and look at your word. It is an amazing gift to us. It is your gift to us. You have brought together people to write this word, knowing that as part of that, today we will be looking at this psalm at this moment. And so, Holy Spirit, help us to hear, help us to see, help us to think about and understand what it is that we need to know. And so I pray that you will guide us through this time together as we open up your word, your inspired word, and allow it to impact our lives. So thank you for what you're going to do, and thank you for just your grace to us. Amen. Now Psalm 46 is one of those psalms that just ooze confidence, in God in the face of troubles, even on a grand scale. The first and last verse kind of express the main theme of the psalm, that God is present with us, providing the necessary protection we need, no matter what troubles we face. And it's made up of three parts that move from this sort of natural disaster to national turmoil, then ultimately to God's divine intervention in life itself. And so we're going to start by looking at the first three verses. And they are, God is our refuge and strength, always ready to help in times of trouble. We will not fear when earthquakes come and the mountains crumble into the sea. Let the oceans roar and foam. Let the mountains tremble as waters surge. And then there's a sort of this bit of interlude there. So Psalm 46 is actually one of those great psalms you can actually have if you're talking to someone about natural disasters that may have happened or is happening. It's sort of when these big events and stuff. We've mentioned the drought and how the drought's really bad, and we can go, yeah, it is. But Psalm 46, I don't need to be afraid of what's happening. Or if there's a hurricane coming, oh, there's this hurricane coming, we need to prepare. But for Psalm 46, don't need to panic. Or we hear about earthquakes erupting, earthquakes happening, or volcanoes erupting. We can go, yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? But Psalm 46, if it happens, I know I have help. We will all respond in different ways if our world sort of caves in and goes crazy. But the psalmist's response was, we will not fear, in that verse 2 there. What he describes in verses 2 and 3 is the world, as he knew it, being turned upside down. Now, until recently, I suspect us, along with the rest of humanity, uh, probably didn't give much thought about the possibility of a world catastrophe. Uh, unless, of course, you're really into sort of science fiction movies and everything like Armageddon and all of them. We didn't really think about it. But COVID-19 has changed that. It has affected us on a worldwide scale. I've got my words there, worldwide scale. Now, this psalm, in response to that, can actually face it unafraid, because its opening verse means exactly what it says. Our true security is in God, not in God plus anything else. And that confidence and the threat of one's world being turned upside is then spelled out for us. The psalmist says, God is our refuge, which gives us that protective or defensive side of salvation. God, the unchanging one, is where we find shelter. And the strength implies that sort of dynamic aspect of being saved by God. God is at work within us to empower the weak, which is us, for action, to be ready. And both are sort of summarized in the words, always ready to help in times of trouble, where there is this implied implication of God's readiness to be found and of him being enough when we seek him for any situation. And then in verses 2 and 3, there's this wonderful, whoops, no, we got jumped a bit ahead there. There's this wonderful word picture built up of two things. Firstly, of two things that you would think unchanging and sort of impenetrable, impregnable, sort of that's going to last. The earth, which we stand on, and the mountains. The mountains are when I don't know about you, but whenever I look at mountains, they sort of like seem so grand and they're just going to last forever. But they're put against this picture of what is really restless and can be quite menacing, which is the sea. And it begins to contemplate the end of this sort of created order by which the earth, the mountains, and the waters have been set in place. And this is all, falling apart. The mountains crumble in the sea, the oceans roar and foam, and there's this graphic image of turmoil taking place here. It's kind of like what was described a bit later in Psalms, in Psalm 102, when it says, long ago you laid the foundation of the earth and made the heavens with your hands. They will perish, but you will remain forever. They will wear out like old clothing. You will change them like a garment and discard them. But you are always the same. You will live forever. It's that statement. Here's the psalmist's statement. Like all of this can happen. Those mountains that you think will never disappear, they can go. All of this can disappear. But the psalmist is saying, I will not fear. Even if the world as we know it, more than that, the world as God has defined it, collapses before our very eyes, I will not fear. And that is such a radical profession of faith, that I will not fear, because it's built on that truth that God is our refuge and strength, always ready to help in times of trouble. I would love that sort of faith. I want that sort of faith. I don't necessarily want the circumstances that would really test it, to be honest. I mean, it's like, well, going up and crazy and everything. But I still would want that faith. And this psalm actually challenges me to think about that. Do I fear what is happening? And if so, why? Why is it I'm afraid? What's happening there for me? Can I say with confidence, God is my refuge and my strength, and I know, absolutely know, he's always ready to help in times of trouble? And if not, again, why? What's happening? And maybe also that important question, so what am I going to do about it then? If I can't say that yes, so what am I going to do? Moving on. In verses 4 to 7, we have the river brings joy to the city of our God, the sacred home of the Most High. God dwells in that city. It cannot be destroyed. From the very break of day, God will protect it. You know, the nations are in chaos. Well, that's certainly relevant. Psalm 46, relevant for today. The kingdoms will crumble. I love this bit. God's voice thunders and the earth melts, and the Lord of heaven's armies is here among us. The God of Israel is our fortress. In this section, it's not the waters that are roaring, it's the nations that are in such an uproar. And this is really a good time to say Psalm 46 is great to be used when you're talking international affairs and politics. You know, you get up there, oh, look what China's doing. They should read Psalm 46. You know, what's North Korea up to? Haven't they read Psalm 46? The Middle East is still at it. Psalm 46. News from the US, boy, they need Psalm 46. And here in Australia, we need to hear Psalm 46 as well. Here we have the nations rattling their swords, but in the face of such a national upheaval, the city of God, where God's people are, is full of joy. It's not concern, it's not panic or anything, it's full of joy. And this joy flows throughout the city, and God's people are experiencing joy despite the chaos among the nations. It kind of reminds me of the river mentioned several times throughout Scripture, but like in Revelations 22, 1 to 2, you know, that lovely image. The angel showed John the river of the water of life, clear as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and of the Lamb. And it flowed down the center of the main street. On each side of the river grew a tree of life, bearing 12 crops of fruit, with a fresh crop each month. And the leaves were used for medicine to heal the nations. You know, this amazing sort of place of tranquility and peace, and in this case, joy. And there is joy because the city is secure in spite of the threats. You know, the city is secure not because of its towers and its fortified walls, which it certainly would have had. The city is secure because God is present there. And thinking about it, that's like for us, you know, we are not secure because of what we build up, because of our, you know, plans and everything that we might have put in place, or relying upon family, or, you know, a whole range of different things. We are secure because God is present with us. You know, the divine presence is the ultimate fortress, the ultimate protection. And the psalm goes on to say God will be there at the break of day, the earliest time for battle, to protect the city from attack. And he need only raise his thunderous voice, and the would-be attackers will melt away. So there is flowing joy in spite of national upheaval, because the Lord of heaven's armies is here among us. The God of Israel is our fortress. And that fact, you know, that reality, that the Lord of heaven's armies, God himself, is here among us, doesn't that make you smile? Doesn't that make you feel really good? To know that God is actually here among us, here with me. And in fact, not only among us, but in us. It's great to know God is with me. And if he wasn't, what a miserable wreck I would be if God was not with me. And so the nations, you know, can parade around and do their thing and everything, and I can smile. Not being blasé about what's going on, but I can smile because I know that just one word from God and they would be powerless. And so the psalmist says there is joy in God's city, in God's people, because God is with them. And they know that the nations cannot stand against him. What, great reminder, a great reminder when we start worrying about what's happening around the world, and even here in this country, that for God's people, we can be joyful in the midst of all that chaos because God is actually with us. Then we come to the end of the psalm in verses 8, and it says, "Come, see the glorious works of the Lord. See how he brings destruction upon the world." It just made me pause for a little minute. Then you read this bit. He causes wars to end throughout the earth. He breaks the bow and snaps the spear. He burns the shield with fire. We are invited to come and see the glorious works of the Lord, and in particular, his works of destruction. Now, which is, sort of a bit, like I said, made me pause there when read it, because you go, oh, surely, come and see God's loving works, come and see God's grace and mercy to us, come and see, but no, the psalmist says, come and see his acts of destruction. But it's not destruction that, that certainly popped into my mind. When I hear the word destruction, I think of, maybe cities wiped out, or being scriptural, Sodom and Gomorrah, blowing up and everything, all that sort of thing. But no, this destruction is actually the destruction of war and all its weaponry. The destruction is the establishment of a worldwide peace. We in the nations are summoned to stop all our frantic and rebellious activity and know that the Lord is the true and living God. And as you look at this destruction that's mentioned, though the outcome is peace, it's actually a process of judgment. The reassuring words that are given, he causes wars to end, are set in the context not of God's gentle persuasion, but of a world devastated and is forcefully disarmed. God has done that in the past, of course. He's, we know about the Red Sea situation. We know about the people of Israel going in to the Promised Land and the way he forcefully disarmed the enemies of Israel, and he will do that in the future as well. 2 Peter 3 tells us, since everything around us is going to be destroyed like this, what holy and godly lives you should live, looking forward to the day of God and the hurrying it along. On that day, he will set the heavens on fire, the elements will melt away in the flames. But we are looking forward to the new heavens and new earth he has promised, a world filled with God's righteousness. And so here, we are asked to see God at work. And we are told that God will end war. So as God's people, we don't need to be afraid because of God is with us. And then we move into the last verses where again we are invited, but this time we are invited to be still and know that I am God, that I will be honored by every nation. I will be honored throughout the world. The Lord of heaven's armies is here among us. The God of Israel is our fortress. And it is perhaps coming to these verses that we, believers in Christ Jesus, need Psalm 46 for ourselves and for our own self-talk conversations. I don't know about you, but I tend to have these conversations in my head, and go backwards and forwards. It can be funny when I start arguing with myself, but, I have these conversations. And Psalm 46 is something that needs to be heard. We are invited to see God's glorious work and then invited to be still and know that I am God. In the hectic nature of life, especially as we come out of the restrictions that we've been under, this is good advice, but it's not easy. I don't know the last time you tried to be still and focus on God. find yourself in a place where there is nothing disturbing your thoughts. Your mind isn't jumping to responses of your senses, such as a sound or a smell or something you're touching. That you are calm and you have that deep sense of knowing God in such a powerful and intimate way. As I said, it's not an easy place to be in and to find, especially in our day and age where we race everywhere. Yet, to try and take time and effort to try to be still is something you and I need to listen to. We can race back to doing what we did before COVID-19 happened, but we need to ask ourselves, is that the best thing? Is that really good? If it is, yes, if the answer to that is yes, then great, let's go for it. But if no, isn't it a good time to stop and take stock of what we would like to change, to do differently? The psalm tells us God's going to be honored. He is supreme. We are not. His honor, not our own, is the ultimate reason for our being. And he pledges that he himself will be honored by every nation throughout the world, and that we as his creation will need to honor him. Jesus made a comment, said to his disciples, I'm going to leave you a gift. If you have a look in John 14, you'll see what he says, and I'll just read a bit of it. It says, I'm leaving you with a gift. It's peace of mind and heart. The peace I give is a gift the world cannot give. So don't be troubled or afraid. Remember what I told you. I'm going away, but I will come back to you again. If you really love me, you will be happy that I'm going to the Father who is greater than I am. I've told you these things before they happen, so that when they do happen, you will believe. Be still and know I am God. At the end of the day, God's peace has already started to be put in place because of what our Lord Jesus has done for us. And so it is a good time now to listen to Psalm 46 and to stop and to know our God. Moving on, next slide. Psalm 46 is a great psalm to mention in passing in so many conversations. It is my prayer that this week you keep having this thought pop into your head. Psalm 46 applies here. You might add, there's Bruce again, but I just pray that Psalm 46 keeps popping into your mind as you're hearing conversations, as you're talking about different things, as you talk with family, with friends, and with people you meet. And maybe to a few, you might even mention the psalm for them to go and read for themselves. And who knows what God might do then. Our God will be honored. Our God calls us to come and see his works. Our God says, be still and know me. And what great opportunity we have to be able to do that at this time. And who knows, if you mention that to someone, God might do amazing things. Let's just close in prayer. Lord, Psalm 46, you are our refuge, our strength, you are our fortress, you are our God. I pray that you'll help us to stop and know you, that we will seek to deepen our relationship with you. And Lord, want to acknowledge that there's a whole lot of stuff that's happening. But please, Holy Spirit, help us to be able to put that in the right order of priority. That we stop and be still and know you. Help us to make that a priority in our lives. But also, may you take this psalm and this week use it in amazing, different ways in which to bring your truths and who you are into other people's lives and into our own lives as well, because of your love for us. Thank you for the psalm. Thank you for what you're going to do. Thank you for inviting us into your family because of the work you did on the cross and in the tomb. And continue to encourage us to be a people who are faithful and who worship you. I ask that in your precious name, Lord Jesus. Amen.